Here is Ethereum analysis with an update. So it broke out of this downward wedge, the blue lines. It was an ending diagonal, and it did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did a correction, and now it's not really impulsing. There's a bit of resistance right here that's keeping it back. It went down to, the correction went down to 0.618. But I think if we do the same thing, and remember, Ethereum is following Bitcoin. So let's take a look at the pattern. A lot of times, patterns for inverted head and shoulders are not always nicely horizontally placed. Many times they are leaning. And this one is leaning to the right, I think. And when it leans to the right, it's more bullish. When it leans to the left, it's not as bullish. And when it's just perfectly horizontal, it's bullish. So if this is correct, then we'll label this as a left shoulder. So the left shoulder, I think I will make it to probably here. I think that'll be more fitting because this is where the bounce came out of. So this will be the left shoulder. This will be the head, like this. And here we'll be making the right shoulder. Okay. If that's the case, then we've got left, right shoulder, maybe one more dip and up. So it's not complete yet, I don't think. It's very similar again to Bitcoin. Except in the case of Ethereum, it's leaning to the right, a little more bullish than just horizontal. Let's check out the volume. So left shoulder is this region right here. The head is right here. And the right shoulder is right here. So I think it does have the minimum volume confirmation. The volume of the head peaks are the highest. And that means if we do a minimum one measurement of the pattern, we'll draw a vertical line from the very bottom of the head to the neckline. I just carry that over to the neckline over here, and we should get something around 679. Bear in mind that these targets are not being put for precision targets. They're just being put for as guideposts more than anything else. So this is one, again, that same pattern that shows that Ethereum is following Bitcoin. So does Ethereum also have a bit of a bearish upward wedge scenario also? Let's look. If we draw a line right across these, and right underneath, we do. But unlike Bitcoin, it's a little bit behind. It hasn't broken through the bottom trend line. If this scenario, alternate scenario, does play out, I think it can go to the 461 measurement of the bigger head and shoulders. Remember that? The 461 target. And if it reaches for that, it can target for that 461, which was the minimum one for the higher, bigger head and shoulders one. So if we zoom out to show you that bigger head and shoulders that we saw, there you go. Give it these rectangles for the one because we already know it's confirmed. It bothered me that if this was a turnaround, that we didn't hit the minimum. And I believe this minimum of 461 or so can be, maybe likely needs to be hit before any meaningful turnaround occurs. So this upward wedge is just a consolidation phase, a bounce, A, B, C, D, E, or an A, B, C, D breakdown, just like Bitcoin too. And this minimum target likely could be hit. You need to be aware of that. And if it does start going down, there's no need to panic. Let's look at the bigger picture. So yeah, that 461 is the 0.786 zone. And this bull flag is still intact, and if price, instead of going up, decides to go down, I believe the 461 can be hit before a meaningful turnaround, as shown by the arrows here. Yesterday and the day before, it bothered me that we didn't get this head and shoulders minimum hit. Usually it does. And I think this pause was provided by this cluster of support, which enabled the bounce. And now they've got enough additional sellers regrouped to come back down again to the 0.786. Now, is this my primary account? No. This is my alternate account. I like to see how that this head and shoulders here might play out, meaning. However, if I had to give a percentage, I would say 60% primary, 40% is secondary. 60-40. I'm sorry, maybe 55, 45. It's pretty close. Now let's look at the MACD for this too. I do this and updated it a while back, and it is doing that swing up. Now I'm going to redraw it, and I think there's a little more room for the wiggle to occur, and that might look like this. It'll come back down, and that's when the price will hit the 461. And then the meaningful reversal will occur from here and on. I believe that's probably what's going on. I may even give it 50-50. But it really doesn't matter. Nothing has really changed in the big picture. The bull flag is still intact. It needs to complete. MACD is still well obeying the contracting lines of its own symmetrical triangle and needs to get closer to the apex, which in this case falls on July 5th or so for Ethereum. But if we can get to the point of June 14th to the 24th, I think meaningful breakout time zone could be in that range of days. All right, I hope you found this to be very helpful and that it augments your own due diligence. Have a wonderful day.